Well, social skills are key to relationships, and today the parent coach has tips to boost those skills.
Yeah, we caught up with Karen Gibson to learn more.
How can we improve our relationship skills? And more importantly, how can you help your children do so? The parent coach, Karen Gibson, is back. Nice to see you on Living 808 again.
Thanks for having me here, Tanya.
All right. This is something I think that will benefit everyone. So talk about some of the tools to improve relationship skills.
Well, the Johari window, and a lot of us aren't aware of it, is a psychological tool that we can use to better understand the way we think and then just the way that we relate to others. So there's 4 quadrants that each of us possesses. So there's the open self, the blind self, the hidden self, and the unknown self. And if we teach children, as well as parents and families, like how we actually work, right? Because some of us, we don't really think about how our personalities work and why we think the way we do.
Well, you talked about the 4 quadrants. Can you explain how that figures into the relationship skills?
Definitely. If we are aware, and especially children, right, if they are taught to be aware of their inner selves and how these 4 quadrants work, I'll give you an example. The open self is information that you already know about yourself and others. So everyone knows that you and John are part of the KHON staff, right? It's not something that you hide, you are open about it. But then the blind self is interesting. It's about information that you may not even be aware of, but others know. So what if John's not even aware of his amazing singing voice, but everyone else is like, wow, when I saw him do the karaoke thing, he has an amazing voice, but he doesn't know it, right? So that would be something blind to the person. The hidden self could be maybe a talent that you have, Tanya, that you're not quite ready to share with others. And there might be, a reason if you have amazing culinary talents and you don't want anyone to know that. Otherwise, everyone's going to want you to cook for them, right? There's a reason why we want to hide certain parts. So a child, especially, if he doesn't want to hide why they're feeling anxiety or why they're going through something, parents need to respect the boundary. But also, if you create a safe space, the child might be willing to share. So this is a self that can provide a lot of insight, for behavior problems. And then the hidden self, like what we just mentioned, right? Just really be aware of what your children are hiding. And if they don't feel safe, that's when lies start being created. I really believe that when we have a better understanding of ourselves and of others, we are less judgmental. When we're less judgmental, we practice more empathy, which will decrease conflict, right? Because you don't expect others to think and believe exactly how you think and believe.
How do you teach the self-awareness concept to kids using the Johari quadrant, or the window, that is?
It's very simple. You just ask themselves, right? Ask your children, how do you see yourself? So a child might see themselves as shy, but when they ask their friends might see them as confident, or their friends might express talents that the child may not even be aware of. So once a child hears, the talents and even the personality traits that others share with them, that's when self-esteem increases, because they realize, wow, I'm not this, like this ugly inner self that they might not even feel worthy, or even they don't even want to even leave the house, right? During the pandemic, a lot of things happen, and some children are not even comfortable in leaving the house because they have this hidden self that they don't want others to see. So when we create a safe platform and we actually make the time to take this assessment, I think a lot of eyes will be opened and you will better understand why people act the way that they do.
How would that self-awareness help with a child's development?
We do find, and studies have shown, that they are able to be reflective, they're able to question their behavior and even be aware of why and how others behave differently from them. So when we practice the self-awareness and we teach, right, we teach kids especially why everyone may not think the way they do and that it's not wrong. I think a lot of times children, when they encounter people who think differently, as well as adults, right, we don't understand, why can't you share the same thoughts that I do? And then that's when people get angry, when we come across people who do not share our same beliefs. So if we teach this to children at an earlier age, you'll see less conflict because there will be less judgment. When we have less judgment, right, our communication skills are more effective because we are just more aware that everyone they don't need to share the same beliefs that we do.
Very interesting and useful. Do you have a link available where people can tap into the Johari Window Assessment?
Yes, it's a free assessment that I invite everyone to do. It's Kevan, KEVAN.org/Johari. And I invite everyone to take this assessment, ask your friends, your colleagues, your family to just choose 5 or 6 adjectives that describe themselves in your perspective, and seeing the overlap and differences will provide insight in how you see yourself and how others see you. So it will provide a lot of enlightenment, and it's supposed to help you have less personality clashes and more understanding, because we can't expect everyone to share the same belief system that we do.
Very smart knowledge. And as always, we appreciate having you on, not just for the benefits of kids out there, but for us big kids as well.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We love getting those tips from the parent coach. Who doesn't need to improve their social and relationship skills? I mean, and I wasn't directing that at you, Mike, or anything.
Yeah. No, but that's so true. I mean, and she made a good point. After a year and a half of, like we said, like being cooped up and everything, it almost is kind of weird. I can feel sometimes awkward, but that's just from me not knowing whether or not to approach somebody to see how comfortable they are.
There's that, the social distancing, and then social skills, and that continues to change. And people, after you've been isolated, there is almost like a reintegration into societies.
Yeah.